President Tinubu re-elected as ECOWAS chairman amid renewed regional challenges. NASU SANU to commence nationwide protest Tuesday. ICT experts advocate digital skills development for next generation. And on the international scene, soldiers, rebels killed in India-Gone battles. Very good evening and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. My name is Sagir Ibrahim. Now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu's mandate as chairman of the Authority of ECOWAS Heads of State and Government was extended on Sunday, at the conclusion of a summit of the sub-regional body. West African leaders at the 65th Ordinary Session in Abuja decided to ensure continuity and consistency in meeting ECOWAS targets on security, reconciliation, and development. Trust TV's Kendi Amudu brings details. And moving on now, the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, NASU, and Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, have directed their members across the country to mobilize for nationwide protest. This follows the recent breakdown of dialogue between the Ministries of Education and Labour and the Joint Action Committee of the two bodies. In a circular directed to all branch chairmen of the two unions and made available to the media in Abuja on Sunday, the unions said the protest will commence on 9th July 2024 across the state chapters of the Federation, and a national protest in Abuja on the 18th of July. The circular was jointly signed by the General Secretary of NASU and National President of SANU, Prince Peters Adeyemi, and Comrade Muhammad H. Ibrahim, respectively. And workers in Nigerian universities have announced plans for a nationwide protest beginning July 18, 2024, in response to the withholding of their salaries for 4 months. The Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, and the Non-Academic Staff Union, NASU, operating under the Joint Action Committee, JAC, stated that talks with government officials have collapsed. In a circular jointly signed by NASU's General Secretary Peters Adeyemi and SANU's President Muhammad Ibrahim, all branches of the union are directed to conduct a mandatory general meeting on July 8, 2024. The purpose is to raise awareness among members about the government's perceived lack of responsiveness to their grievances. Despite multiple meetings with the Minister of Education and the Minister of Labour, the unions expressed disappointment over the lack of tangible progress in resolving salary issues and other grievances. They highlighted a planned one-day protest on July 9, 2024 at all branches, followed by a national protest in Abuja on July 18, 2024. Further actions, including a potential strike, will be decided upon after the national protest. And President Bola Tinubu has said that his administration will continue to support the military in their fight against any form of insecurity bedeviling the country. Nigeria is currently experiencing activities of banditry, kidnapping, and communal clashes, with many people reportedly being killed or displaced on a daily basis. Trust TV's Ado Musa brings details.
This event marks the grand finale of the 1 week of the Nigerian Army Day celebration, with the theme Transforming the Nigerian Army Imperative for Combating Contemporary Security Challenges Within a Joint Environment. President Tinubu, represented by the Minister of Defense, Badaru Abubakar, says the Nigerian Army over the years recorded significant achievements in defending the national integrity of the nation. Hence, the need to continue to support the institution with necessary logistics.
The Commander in Chief of Administration is committed to building a well-equipped and truly professional army that will remain the pride of the nation. We are committed to providing you with all that you need and enable you to fulfill your constitutional responsibilities. To this end, I have approved the payment of group life assurance for all the members of the Nigerian Army who died in the line of duty. To heighten our combat efficiency and deterrence, I also approved the purchase of attack helicopters and other necessary equipment and combat elements for you to carry out your assignments more professionally and effectively.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, in his address at the event, reiterated the commitment of the armed forces to confront all threats to the national security. He says the army has deployed troops across the federation to maintain peace and unity, appealing to Nigerians to assist the army to combat insecurity in the country.
It is not believed that the Nigerian army is currently deployed in all states of the federation to contain different violent armed groups threatening the peace of all Nigerians in Nigeria. The judgment of our operation shall be made public in this simple state, giving rise to more frequent interaction with civilians. I will express the Nigerian army's gratitude once again to the President of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for his strategic guidance and confidence goals in the Nigerian army in carrying out its constitutional responsibilities. On behalf of the officers and men of the Nigerian army, I want to reiterate our unavoidable reality and pledge our total commitment to the defense of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The week-long activities were concluded with presentations of awards and recognition of outstanding performance to deserving officers. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
We now circle back to the lead story on the bulletin, where President Bola Tinubu's mandate as chairman of the Authority of ECOWAS Heads of State and Government was extended on Sunday at the conclusion of a summit of the sub-regional body of West African leaders at the 65th extraordinary session in Abuja. Here's details.
President Tinubu was first elected as chairman of the Authority of ECOWAS Heads of State and Government in Guinea-Bissau on July 9, 2023. Since he came on board, ECOWAS under his leadership has had to deal with terrorist activities and violent extremism threatening to spread from the Sahel region to coastal states. The body has also faced the challenge of unconstitutional change of government, which led to 3 Sahel countries, Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger, to withdraw from ECOWAS. Nevertheless, the Nigerian president has promised to consolidate on the values of democracy and uphold the interest of the regional body, which will clock 50 years in 2025.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in the context of complex challenges in the sub-region, the United Nations will continue to support national and regional efforts to ensure peace and stability, enhance democracy and good governance, including through inclusive political processes and socio-economic development, with the emphasis on economic empowerment of women and youth.
Going forward, the ECOWAS chairman appointed the president of Senegal, Bassirou Faye, and the president of Togo, Faure Gnassingbé, as special envoys to Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger.
Our partners are carrying out critical intervention in countries affected by humanitarian crisis. Excellencies, head of state and government, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me underscore that a peaceful and secure society is essential for achieving our potential. As we move to operationalize the ECOWAS Standby Force, ESF, in combating terrorism, I must emphasize that the success of this plan requires not only strong political will, but also substantial financial resources.
President Tinubu had earlier called on heads of state and government of ECOWAS to work towards establishment and sustenance of a regional standby force for the security and economic advancement of the community. The president emphasized the expediency of a standby force in the face of growing security threats in the region. From the 65th Ordinary Session of the Authority of ECOWAS Heads of State and Government in Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Well, there you have it. Also, a trigger-happy police officer has reportedly shot dead a betting agent identified as Anoluakpo Abiodun in the Imala Elega area of Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Abiodun, a graduate of Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, reportedly operated a betting shop in front of a popular hotel in the area and was closing his shop for the day when he was gunned down on Friday night. An eyewitness alleged that the officers were drunk and coming out of the hotel when one of them shot the deceased. He said the officers immediately escaped into the hotel and called for backup before they later escaped from the hotel about 3 hours later. The State Police Public Relations Officer, Omolola Udutola, confirmed the incident. And also a joint operation involving the army and local hunters reportedly thwarted an attempt by suspected Boko Haram insurgents to sabotage electricity poles belonging to the Transmission Company of Nigeria, the TCN, near Kasesa community 10 kilometers from Damaturu, the capital of Yobe State. Sources informed the media that the terrorists traveling in an ash-colored Toyota Corolla with Abuja registration number BWR 572FP were intercepted based on intelligence received by security forces. An anonymous hunter involved in the operation stated, "We blocked the suspected vandals from multiple routes and with Allah's help, we achieved victory. They fled, abandoning their vehicle after our joint operation confronted them. The Toyota Corolla was seized, but the suspected terrorists managed to escape." Additionally, sources disclosed that improvised explosive devices and other materials intended for vandalizing electricity poles were recovered from the vehicle. The Sector 2 Joint Task Force of Operation Hadinkai in Damaturu has not yet commented on the incident that occurred on Saturday. The vandals have caused significant damage from December 2023 to March 2024, destroying over 8 electricity poles owned by TCN in Borno and Yobe states, resulting in hardship for local residents. And to other stories, the advent of mobile phones has not only revolutionized communication through phone calls, but has also significantly heightened engagement on social media platforms, particularly among the youth. Moreover, smartphones operate akin to computers, thereby enhancing users' ICT proficiency. However, despite the pervasive use of digital platforms, many youth are utilizing them in manners that fail to enhance their lives. Trust TV's Bello Musa has more on the story.
The integration of ICTs in schools has notably enhanced teaching, learning, and research. However, a recent survey reveals that only 7% of young people aged between 15 and 24 in Nigeria have acquired ICT skills. This underscores the urgent need to enhance ICT and other digital platforms to create more opportunities for youth empowerment.
Everywhere ICT is needed, every particular sector we have today, ICT is needed. For example, we have AI and data science. These are courses that thrive, and I believe these are courses with potentials in the future. In terms of providing benefits to the youth, it's just like you said, it will create job opportunities through linking them to SMEs, especially companies that they can work with at the end of the day.
Digital skills are a great leveler and an enabler for future jobs, and they give the youth an edge when it comes to workplace productivity and gainful employment.
Many talented individuals in Kaduna State face challenges due to inadequate access to ICT facilities.
Because some people, they basically don't, some people actually want to, but they don't know how to go about it. So I think it's imperative to make awareness on things like in order to help people to know that they need to come out and learn, because it's not, there's something that you can practically just stay on your phone and do, so you don't need to keep going out every time. So
this is 21st century, the world is moving digital. So Kaduna State, with the number of talent pool they have, especially youths and SMEs, so I believe with the capacity of the talent we have in Kaduna State, for example, you'll see youths that have the capability but they are far from the resources. Digital Steel program is coming to fill in that gap and provide the space for youth to thrive and for SMEs to thrive in the modern economy.
In terms of the resources that it possesses, there are about between 8 to 9 million indigenous in Kaduna State, and most of them are youths. Hypothetically, let's talk about Mohammed.
Nowadays, youth spend most of their times on social media platforms rather than engaging in other activities. Experts suggest that utilizing these platforms can help harness their potentials.
They always try to call the youths to utilize these platforms. So I think it's very obvious that media outlets take more of youth's time today, especially in the age of crypto world. It's taking much of our youthful time. But I think, well, it's not that youth are not aware of these opportunities, but sometimes the access to resources is what really stops them from this. So, but I think if really they will find a way to take these courses, they are going to make a world of excellent progress in life. So,
according to experts, despite the role ICT can play in education, schools are yet to fully integrate ICT effectively. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And human and vehicular movement was obstructed after heavy rains caused flooding in some parts of the Lekki Expressway in Etiosa local government area of Lagos State. Dr. Omishakin reports that beyond free flow of traffic, households were also affected as a result of the downpour. His report is presented from our studio.
A visit to Ologolo, Kayode, an adjoining street in Agungi bus stop, revealed a sharp contrast with the Lekki Expressway beautification, as residents were seen rolling up their trousers to make their way in and out of their homes. Some residents blamed the leadership of the community for being comfortable with the community being submerged yearly with flood, and the state government's slow intervention in the area.
We have to face drainage problem. And why? Because there are developments. People have been buying lands one way or the other. They have been developing their projects, and as a result of this, they did not put in place a drainage system. So this is a street now. That's the main Ologolo town. So the drainage leading from Ologolo did not connect Kolawole Road. So therefore it's stopping somewhere over there. As a result of that, the water is going to move backward.
During the rainy season, you have to get so many challenges. Most important thing is the whole gutters in the whole street are not properly channeled. So during the rainy season, the whole thing blocked. So what I expect the government to do, let them inspect the whole gutters in the whole areas, then look how they will channel the water.
They pleaded with the state government to come to their rescue.
As part of efforts to prevent flooding in the state, the Lagos state government has given property owners who built illegal structures and squatters along Bagada-Bariga Channel a 48 hours vacation notice. Disclosing this on X, the State Commissioner of Water and Environment, Tokumbo Wahab, said the drainage channel, which defloods Bariga, Bagada, Sholui, downstream communities and environs, and discharges into System 1, has been taken over by squatters who have constituted nuisance and security risks to the estate, and property owners who deliberately build to obstruct free flow of water in the area. According to Wahab, shanties were erected along the length of the channel and their activities had blocked collectors that are supposed to carry storm water into the channel, which resulted to the flooding experienced during the week. He added that upon expiration of the notices served, the operatives of Lagos State Ministry of the Environment and Water Resources will commence removal of those contravening structures in order to deflood the area. And to other developments, the Federal High Court in Lagos has ordered former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk, to account for 729 billion naira disbursed to 24.3 million poor Nigerians over the course of 6 months. The court mandated disclosure of beneficiary lists and state-wise payment following a Freedom of Information suit by SERAP. Honorable Justice Deinde Isaac Dikpeolu, in his judgment delivered last month, upheld SERAP's demand for transparency under the Freedom of Information Act. The court dismissed objections and ruled in favor of SERAP, compelling the minister to explain the rationale behind the 5,000 naira payments constituting 5% of Nigeria's 2021 budget. SERAP's Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadare, hailed the ruling as crucial for accountability in public spending, urging immediate compliance from the authorities. In response, legal experts including Femi Falana, SAN, praised SERAP's efforts, calling for comprehensive anti-corruption measures in ministries. SERAP has called on President Bola Tinubu to enforce the court's orders promptly. And after weeks of high prices, consumers in Gombe are finally enjoying a welcome decline in tomato costs. This reduction has brought relief to both shoppers and vendors. Local vendors attribute the price drop to an increased supply of locally cultivated tomatoes entering the market, which has effectively stabilized prices. Trust TV's Hassan Koli brings details.
Despite the significant reduction in tomato prices in Gombe, consumer patronage has not returned to previous levels. Muhammad Mekayemia, a vendor, has seen a drastic decline in customers, attributing this downturn to both the recent price increases in tomatoes and spices, as well as the overall high cost of living. Well, price of tomatoes, hot peppers, and onions has reduced by almost 50% compared to the last few weeks. However, people have stopped buying them. It is primarily due to the current economic condition and the artificiality it has inflicted upon us. In fact, I lost more than 70% of my customers. It is worrisome. It is indeed welcome development for both vendors and buyers. During the Salah period, most people were not able to buy a tomato or hot pepper due to the high cost. During the said period, a 50 kg bag of hot pepper was sold for 150,000 to 160,000 naira, against the current price of 75,000 to 80,000 naira. However, people are still not patronizing our goods. The decrease in price of the commodities may be connected to the early tomato harvest period in Gombe. In the last few weeks, we have been buying tomatoes in faraway places, which is a major factor in its cost. But the recent local production, leading to a larger supply of tomatoes in the market, prices are going down by 40 to 50%. However, despite the development, people are not patronizing it. They are concerned about grains and basic food items to feed their families. Many people have stopped using tomatoes and hot peppers, opted instead for cheaper spices to lower the cost of their dishes. From Gombe, Hassan Koli, reporting for Trust TV.
This is Trust News Hour. Coming up shortly. Rise in metal scraps demand from multinationals hit iron recycling value chain. This and of course more stories when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is the News Hour on Trust TV. Now, the details of the headlines again. President Tinubu re-elected as ECOWAS chairman amid renewed regional challenges. And NASU, SANU to commence nationwide protest on Tuesday. And the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, will swear in 12 newly appointed judges of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory on Wednesday, July 10. The ceremony will take place at the main courtroom of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. According to a statement from Dr. Festus Akonde, the Director of Press and Information of the Supreme Court, the new judges to be sworn in are Justice Butnan Mandi Basi, Plateau State, Justice Ademuyiwa Olakunle Oyeyipo, Kwara State, Justice Bamodu Odunayo Olutomi, Lagos State, Justice Ihiabunike Anumainwe Godwin, Imo State, Justice Odo Celestine Obina, Enugu State, and Justice Hawa Lawal-Gumi, Zamfara State. Also to be sworn in are Justice Sarah Benjamin Inesuavo, Bayelsa State, Justice Miriam Iye Yusuf, Kogi State, Justice Ariwola Oluwakemi Victoria, Oyo State, Justice Leslie Nkesi Belema Wike, Rivers State, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Munirat, Bauchi State, and Justice Abdurrahman Usman of Taraba State. And also, pharmacists in the country have expressed satisfaction with the presidential executive order aimed at introducing zero tariffs, excise duties, and value-added tax on imported pharmaceutical inputs. According to them, the order will bring down the skyrocketing prices of drugs in Nigeria and boost sustainable, high-quality healthcare in the country. Take a look.
In an interview with Trust TV in Lagos, the pharmacist said prices of drugs have skyrocketed owing to the country's economic instability, which has made purchase of basic medications and supply almost out of reach for common man. However, they expressed optimism that the executive order would improve production for local manufacturers, strengthen drug security, and healthy living among Nigerians.
So this executive order to support the local manufacturers will first bring down the cost of medications for the common man, but most importantly, it will also enhance the pharmaceutical sector so that many people who are interested in investing in the pharmaceutical sector will be able to invest in it. And then that will create jobs. It will improve access to healthcare, because the heart of healthcare is availability and affordability of medicine for the common man. So what does this entail? It entails that now local manufacturers can be able to get their excipients, the active pharmaceutical ingredients, and the machinery they need to function and operate at a very affordable prices. And that will means that the cost of producing medications will be reduced, and hopefully that will translate to the common man on the market. So we have over 150 pharmaceutical companies in Nigeria, and if those companies truly align with this executive order, then we believe that in the next 6 to 12 months, the high cost of price for the common man should reduce, especially from local manufacturers.
Because there are some patients that when they come to pharmacies and they found out that if the drug is expensive, they found it difficult to afford it. But this measure taken by the president is a greatly improved measure, and it will also reduce the rate of death rates. It will increase the rate of livelihood by all individuals in our country.
To improve competitiveness among local manufacturers, they urged the federal government to also offer assistance by urging public hospitals to pay debts they owe pharmaceutical firms and provide support for other production variables like the cost of fuel and electricity.
And despite numerous efforts to resolve the crisis rocking the main opposition People's Democratic Party in Katsina State, the situation remains unresolved. The crisis has been exacerbated by allegations that the caretaker committee members of the PDP hijacked the the nomination forms for ward, local government, and state congresses. Abdullahi Yamadi brings details. And moving on, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have raided the Lagos base of a high-profile cocaine syndicate headed by a couple, Agbakuba John Madu and Agbakuba Ijoma Chinwe, as well as the associate, Okoye former Mary Jane, who are at large, where a large consignment of the Class A drug meant for export and local distribution were recovered. The raid, carried out by a special operations unit of the agency, followed months of intelligence gathering and surveillance on the syndicate notorious for packaging, distributing, and trafficking of cocaine within and outside Nigeria. The 54-year-old Agbakuba John Madu was arrested at Ago Palace Way, Okota, while his wife, Agbakuba Ijoma Chinwe, and associate Okoye, former Mary Jane, who doubles as their stash keeper, were nabbed at plot 2205 Eugene Ndubisi Close, Lily Estate, Amuodofin area of Lagos, all on Wednesday, 3rd July 2024, while 7 parcels of cocaine with a total weight of 7.652 kilograms were recovered from Madu at Ago Palace Way. Not less than 122 compressed pellets of the same drug weighing 2.42 kilograms were seized from the duo of Ijoma and Ifoma at Lily Estate, bringing the total seizure to 10.1 kilograms valued at over 2.1 billion naira in street value. In the same vein, NDLEA operatives in Benue State on Thursday, 4th July, intercepted a consignment of 350 grams of cocaine at a checkpoint along Enugu Road, Otukpo. The illicit drug was concealed in an MP3 speaker sent as a waybill parcel. A swift follow-up operation at Flight Motor Park in Otukpo led to the arrest of the owner, 25-year-old Ode Anthony. While commending the officers and men of the Special Operations Unit, Osun, Benue, Ondo, Kano, and FCT commands for the arrest and seizures, the chairman and chief executive officer of the NDLEA, Muhammad Buba Marwa, retired, noted their drug supply reduction efforts balanced with WADA sensitization activities, while he charged them and their compatriots across the country to maintain the tempo. And the lawmaker representing Maru Bugundu Federal constituency in Zamfara State, Abdul Malik Zubairu, has sponsored the mass wedding of 105 orphans whose parents were killed by armed bandits in Zamfara State. The occasion, which took place on Saturday in Bungudu town, the headquarters of Bungudu local government area, was attended by prominent personalities from within and outside the state. Mass weddings are a traditional practice in northern Nigeria aimed at supporting parents who cannot afford to marry off their daughters due to economic hardship. Despite recent criticisms of the tradition, Zubairu chose to sponsor the wedding of these orphans. Both the brides and grooms were elegantly dressed during the event, which drew the attention of thousands of people. 15-year-old Aisha, an orphan from Bugundu local government area, told Trust Television that she was not forced to marry her lover. This sentiment was echoed by Halima, another orphan from the same area. The married couples were provided with beds and mattresses by the lawmaker, in addition to a dowry of 10.5 million naira paid for the 105 brides. Honorable Zubairu also provided each of the 105 bridegrooms with 100,000 naira and 50,000 naira to each of the 105 grooms to enable them to start businesses of their choice. Elsewhere, Quranic teachers in Gombe are expressing concern over the shortage of classes available to accommodate more students. In the community, it's customary for affluent individuals to sponsor teachers who then provide classes for Quranic education. These teachers are calling on the government to develop a specialized curriculum for Quranic education, emphasizing the need for such initiatives to ensure a brighter future for the students involved. Trust TV's Hassan Koli has more.
In Gombe, it has been a long-standing tradition for young children to attend Quranic schools called Islamia or Makarantar Allo during their early childhood years. These schools have been a cornerstone of many communities for generations. However, there is a currently challenge with inadequate classroom space, particularly exacerbating during the rainy season. This shortage of classrooms is impacting the learning experience for pupils, highlighting a pressing need for infrastructure improvement to support Quranic education in the region. We are facing a lot of challenges in our community schools. Firstly, most schools are situated in an open space or have inadequate classes, which in turn hinders the process of categorizing our students based on their level of study. Considering the current state of modern world, I think it is the right time for wealthy individuals and the government to intervene so that we can operate our Islamic community school based on the formal curriculum. Muhammad Ibrahim, a tutor at a community Quranic school, highlighted that under current economic conditions, tutors are finding it challenging to adequately provide for themselves, let alone imparting education to the pupils effectively. This situation underscores the economic hardships faced by educators in these schools, impacting their ability to deliver quality education to the students. Wealthy individuals usually shoulder the responsibility of providing classes and giving stipends to tutors. However, this is no longer applicable. Our community schools in the neighborhood have been taken care of personally by the tutors. And with this economic condition, this is not sustainable. The community and government must, on the matter of urgency, look into the situation because these children are our future. Therefore, we must provide them with sound Islamic knowledge. Most community Islamic school teachers are accusing both parents and the government of privatizing formal education. They argue that this development will have a negative impact on their communities. From Gombe, Hassan Poli, Trust TV News.
And rusty or condemned metal that are often discarded by many are now a significant source of income, especially for scavengers. These items have in recent times found ready buyers as some foreign companies based in Nigeria source them for recycling into other products. And despite the rise in demand, scavengers are yet to come to terms with the opportunities that abound in the industry as the items are bought at giveaway prices, leaving many wondering how Nigerians can break into the value chain to better the economy. Here's details.
In today's economy, nothing is a waste, as what may seem unimportant to one person is a money spinner for another. Rusty, condemned iron metal, used papers, and cartons that are discarded by many are being collected by scavengers and sold to earn a living. In Lagos State, metal scraps have become a significant source of income as many have turned it into a full-scale business with proper offices. In the Agege local government area, metal scraps and cartons are gathered by scavengers who search the streets for these materials.
For the carton, must buy the caploon, cover the carton well before you carry and go the company. You know, do one like that, then could spoil. That's a carton one. But iron one, then no they spoil for iron.
There are a lot of challenges. From sourcing the scrap items to stocking them to ultimately taking them to the ultimate destination.
Some of the scavengers declined to be captured on camera but told Trust TV that regular scraps can earn them 15,000 to 25,000 naira per day, while larger and weightier iron pieces fetch them up to 30,000 to 50,000 naira per day.
Thank God, everything where we are buying here, they are condemning it. Like those person one pack for a house, some things, some people they pick them for bola to come sell them for us. When they reach some quantity, we go carry them to company like Ragulis, like all those holy zinc, like any condemn something.
Actually, we used to that small scales. We used to, if they bring small market, we used to scale it on top of the small scales. That big one is for bigger market like heavy iron. So that one, if you used to carry like 3 ton, this small one, yeah, we used to carry market like 100 ton or 150, like that.
While many have expressed reservation with how these metals are sourced following cases of theft, others want Nigerians to build conversion or recycling centers that will ensure that the wealth from the industry remains in the country, while foreign companies involved are supervised to ensure that they are not promoting metal theft in the country.
And to stories just coming in, Media Trust Limited, the parent company of the Daily Trust newspaper, has responded to statements made by 2 federal government ministries regarding the controversy surrounding the Samoa Agreement and some previous reports. In a statement by its company secretary and legal advisor, Miriam Bello, Media Trust acknowledged lapses in the reportage of these stories and noted that it will conduct a review and take appropriate measures. The company clarified that its editors understood the Samoa Agreement signed by Nigeria to expand the definition of gender rights from the traditional male-female to include LGBTQ rights. Media Trust stated, if the agreement does not promote such orientation widely accepted in Western countries, then we are wrong in our interpretation. We will readily apologize to both the government and the public for any misunderstanding. The statement also emphasized the expectation that qualified individuals will weigh in on the matter. Media Trust committed to publishing all sides of the discussion, including the government's position. Regarding the information minister's insinuations about other stories, Media Trust addressed 2 specific claims. On the allegation that Daily Trust gave a banner headline to a baseless accusation that the government was working on citing foreign military bases in the country was refuted. Media Trust clarified that on Sunday, May 5th, 2024, it reported details of an open letter by 6 scholars and activists urging the President and the National Assembly to reject any bid to establish U.S. and French military bases within Nigeria. On the minister's claim that Daily Trust concocted and popularized a lie that the federal government had renamed the Murtala Muhammad Expressway in Abuja to Wole Soyinka Way was addressed. Media Trust explained that it published 2 opinion articles on June 12 and 15, 2024, where writers raised concerns over the alleged renaming. The minister's press statement on June 17, 2024, titled Abuja's Murtala Muhammad Way not renamed after Soyinka federal government, was reported extensively on Daily Trust's platform. Media Trust reiterated its commitment to impartiality, stating since 1998, under 6 different governments, including the current Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, Daily Trust has consistently demonstrated impartiality in its reportage. And the Ogun State government has threatened to shut down any market found guilty of improper waste disposal and a dirty environment. This, it said, would be done in the overriding public interest, especially at this period when the country is grappling with outbreak of cholera. The special advisor to the governor, who doubles as the managing director of the Ogun State Waste Management Authority, Abayomi Hunye, handed out the threat during a meeting on Friday with the executive and members of the Ogun State Association of Market Women and Men in Abeokuta, the state capital. This was contained in a statement made available to Punch Online on Sunday. The roundtable, Lagos flood crisis, and any end in sight, according to him, the present period when the country is battling to overcome the outbreak of cholera calls for proper waste disposal and general cleanliness in all markets, as markets are rallying points for the purchase of all commodities such as foodstuffs, provisions, and other items. Hunye added that improper waste disposal in markets breeds rodents, vectors, and flies which infest commodities sold to the public, which will lead to diseases among residents. To avoid such, Hunye called on the market men and women to imbibe the spirit of proper waste disposal in their different markets and cooperate with the OGWMA for a waste-free and clean environment by paying their government-subsidized waste bills when due, which will rub off on the general well-being of the society. The Corporate Affairs Commission, the CAC, has announced the extension of the deadline for registration of all point-of-sale operators, otherwise known as POS operators, by additional 60 days. According to the Commission, the extension period, which begins from 7th July 2024 to 5th September 2024, is to allow operators, especially those in remote areas who might have encountered network glitches, to register. The Commission had earlier in May 2024 given a deadline of 7th July 2024, but in a statement posted on its X handle on Sunday, it noted that the registration will now end in September. The Commission, however, warned that operators who fail or refuse to register at the end of the extended deadline run the risk of losing such businesses and prosecution for aiding and abetting criminal activities. And in business, Nigeria's foreign exchange reserves has reached a high of $34.7 billion, according to data obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria's website on Sunday. This represents an increase of $110 million from the previous day's figure of $34.5 billion. The reserves have been steadily increasing over the past week, with a total gain of $316 million since July 1. This growth has been attributed to several factors, including the recent increase in oil prices, improved diaspora remittances, and the central bank's efforts to stabilize the currency. And on the international scene, Liberian President Joseph Boakai has announced a voluntary 40% reduction in his salary, according to a statement released on the Liberian government's website on Saturday. The decision underscores Boakai's commitment to fiscal integrity and national financial security. The announcement follows recent protests by lawmakers who arrived at Parliament in tricycles known as keke in response to delays in vehicle fund disbursements by the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. Boakai emphasized that his salary reduction aims to set an example of leadership in bolstering government accountability and showing solidarity with citizens. Earlier in the week, Boakai launched the Employee Status Regularization Program, ESRP, to enhance employment and payroll transparency and accountability across the government. This initiative includes a comprehensive employee headcount and physical verification exercise to eliminate ghost workers and unqualified personnel from the government's payroll. The ESRP aims to streamline the civil service, improve wage distribution for legitimate employees, and create opportunities for qualified professionals to deliver efficient services. Currently attending the 63rd Ordinary Session of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of the ECOWAS in Nigeria, President Boakai succeeded former President George Weah. Elsewhere, 2 Indian soldiers have been killed alongside 6 rebels in 2 separate gun battles in the Indian-administered Kashmir, according to the police, raising concerns about the security situation in the disputed Himalayan region. The deadly incident is the latest in an uptick of attacks in the Muslim-majority region, where armed rebellion erupted in the late 1980s against Indian rule. Tens of thousands of people have been killed, although violence has tapered off in recent years. India regularly accuses Pakistan of supporting and arming rebels in the region, a charge Islamabad denies. India and Pakistan both claim the Muslim-majority Himalayan region in full but governed part of it. They have fought 3 wars for its control. In June, 9 Indian Hindu pilgrims were killed and dozens wounded when a gunman opened fire on a bus carrying them from a shrine in the southern Riasi area. It was one of the deadliest attacks in years and the first on Hindu pilgrims in Kashmir since 2017, when armed men killed 7 people in another ambush on a bus. In August 2019, Modi's Hindu nationalist government stripped Kashmir of its special status, which allowed it a separate constitution and inherited protections on land and jobs under Articles 370 and 35A of the Indian Constitution. The move was followed by an unprecedented months-long security clampdown in one of the world's most militarized regions, where anti-India sentiment runs high. The government said the move was aimed at ending terrorism, but attacks have continued and further alienated Kashmirs from mainland India. The region has been governed from New Delhi since the special status was scrapped in 2019. An Iran state media reports that Masoud Pezeshkian will be sworn in as the country's 9th president in early August. According to IRNA, the official swearing-in ceremony is scheduled for August 4th or 5th, with President-elect Pezeshkian then having 15 days to propose his cabinet to parliament for approval. The Iranian presidency is ceremonial, with ultimate authority presiding with Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who has held office for the past 35 years. Pezeshkian, a 69-year-old reformist, secured victory in a runoff election against ultra-conservative Saeed Jalili following the tragic death of President Ibrahim Raisi in a helicopter crash in May. Pezeshkian garnered over 16 million votes, approximately 54%, while Jalili received more than 13 million votes, or about 44%, out of a total of 30 million votes cast. Turnout reported at 49.8% marked an increase from a record low in the first round. And in sports, US actor and wrestler John Cena has announced his retirement from competing in World Wrestling Entertainment WWE events. Cena made the surprise announcement to fans during an appearance at the WWE Money in the Bank event in Canada. The 47-year-old, who transitioned into acting 18 years ago, revealed that his final in-ring competition will be in 2025 as part of a farewell tour. Cena, often regarded as one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time, achieved world champion status 16 times since joining WWE in 2001. Despite feeling at my end physically, he expressed his intention to remain part of the WWE family in some capacity during a press conference. Cena made his acting debut in 2006 with the film The Marine and has since starred in several big-budget movies including The Suicide Squad, Fast and Furious 9, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He has performed in WWE part-time since 2018 as his acting career gained momentum. This year, Cena made headlines by appearing naked, save for a strategically placed envelope during an Academy Awards skit. He is also the all-time most requested celebrity by kids through the Make-A-Wish charity, holding a Guinness World Record for the number of wishes granted to children with critical illnesses. And still in sports, Kwara United has reportedly held talks with Super Eagles goalkeeper trainer Oltunji Bara on the possibility of joining the club ahead of the upcoming NPFL season. bsnsports.com.ng reports. The 2023 AFCON silver medal winner, who was sighted in Ilorin a few days ago, last worked with Nasarawa United and secured an NPFL promotion ticket with the Solid Miners in the just concluded NNL season. The Harmony Boys finished in the 13th position in the just concluded NPFL season under head coach Kabiru Dogo. And that wraps up the news hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all of our social platforms and catch our live stream on YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. My name is Sagir Ibrahim. On behalf of the crew, have a good night.